What's up, everybody? Um, I know. Welcome, YouTube Live Lunch with Chris. In the not too distant future, I don't think it will be hard for you to imagine, even though this might creep you out, a setting like this. You're sitting with the most prepared leader you've ever been with, ever sat across from in any kind of setting. And this is you leading this leader, and maybe you're their uh, they directly report to you. Maybe you're their coach in some way, or maybe you're coaching them, and they pull out their phone three times in the first 10 minutes. Now, if you told that story in 2024 or 2025, you go, oh, they're pulling out their phone because they're getting a text, they're getting a call, somebody's hitting them up. They got to figure out what's going on at the mall. Not that that's a relevant thing anymore today. But there's something happening socially that's keeping them distracted. Well, you watch each time she does the same thing. She's typing into the phone, and you peek over and you see, and it's not actually in a texting conversation with someone. Ah, the rudeness. She's actually in an AI chatbot, one of the chat features for one of the major AI tools. She types in, she reads the screen, and she looks up at you and answers the question. Now, the first time you let it slide. The second time, as you've started to peer over, you see what's happening and you ask what she's doing. And she said, I just wanted to make sure I was thinking about this correctly. I wanted to make sure I was thinking about it right. And the third time you see this happen, you close whatever's in front of you and say, look, I can't do this meeting if you're not in the room with me. I can't lead you. I can't help you get better. I can't coach you. The phone is in the room, but you're not. You're harsh. You're too direct. He or she starts crying because something is happening in this moment that, to me, has not come with, as my friend Mark back there said, who's working away, with the appropriate warning label. Now, this might even be that this is one of the smartest people that you've ever worked with. And maybe he or she has a massive leadership responsibility. But the reality is, this person has not had an unmediated thought in 3 quarters. It's not hard for me to imagine that story. Yeah, not too distant future. Maybe it's 2027 when that happens. The more I'm seeing things, it could be November 2026. And presently, as I record this, it's May 2026. So that's here in a blink. What are we talking about today? We're talking about this person who's going to lean on the technology and the tools and miss becoming who they could be actually in reality at their absolute best. Hey, welcome to Lunch with Chris. So this is where I'm going weekly live on YouTube at 12 noon Eastern. So it's lunch here. I did have an early morning. I had a lunch meeting actually a little bit earlier. So Chipotle happened. It was delicious. I do have my coffee. I wonder what you're eating. Or maybe it's breakfast on the West Coast. But as I walk through today, drop questions in the chat. Drop what stands out to you, what connects with you, what resonates with you. Because I want to really help you understand you have either seen the early workings of a person like this. And we dropped a new video on this character. We called it Alice, the AI Evangelist. You've either seen some early workings of this kind of character, or you will see them soon. Guys, it's here. AI is the worst it'll ever be. If you've played with it deeply, you know it's stupid and brilliant all at the same time. It's frustrating and amazing. But we're going to see more characters like this develop. We're going to see people who are not understanding where they begin and end and where the tool begins and ends. Let's just imagine this is like not a faraway future. Play this out with me for a little bit. Just a few different meeting scenarios. Scenario 1, it's Tuesday morning, 9:14 a.m. You're in a leadership huddle, and Alice has the agenda pulled up. This is this AI evangelist. Talking points are sharp. It's color-coded. It's on a pretty PDF. She's done deep work for an hour with the model from 7 to 8. She's run the 3 hard topics through her favorite chain of prompts. You know, here's the mega prompt. She walks in 5 minutes early. The team knows she's here. They feel relief. Our leader is here. They feel covered. They feel taken care of. And they feel like the meeting is going to be like a lot of meetings with her, fast and clean. A topic comes up. A direct report has been struggling for 3 months. Alice has the answer. Comes out smooth. It is the answer, but it is also not the answer. See, here's what's happening. It's what the model said when she typed in the situation, and she specifically asked for balanced manager guidance, and then pasted in the strongest of 3 options. The team nods. The meeting moves on. The direct report actually doesn't change. He can't change because nobody actually said anything. Nobody has actually told him the real issue that's at work underneath what's happening. They told him what the model, the AI model, thinks a thoughtful manager would say to him. And 6 weeks later, he leaves. Alice is genuinely surprised. That's scenario 1. Not hard to imagine, guys. This is where this is headed. And you may think, as I'm breaking this down for you, that like, oh, Chris is like this fear monger and he's trying to tell us how bad it's going to be. And he's a Luddite of some sort. You know, when the electricity came out and people were like, oh, I can't have electricity. The demons are going to get on me. People thought weird things like that. Now it's normal. It's normal. AI is going to be in the background of our lives. It's just normal. It's going to be doing lots of things. And some of that, if you could see it all right now, would freak you out. What I'm concerned about, and this is why we're here today, is what it's going to do to us as leaders. And for the best of us, it's going to make us better. For most of us, it's going to keep us mediocre. And for the worst of us, it's going to make us worse. Scenario 2, Tuesday afternoon, 2:43 p.m., quarterly planning meeting. Allison has run the strategy through any of the named AI tools. I don't want to say them. They rhyme with rod or rat rept. So she runs the financial assumptions through. She builds the deck with the help of 3 different tools that each got handed the previous tool's output. That's how this is happening. LARPing is occurring. Tools are talking to tools. The deck is beautiful. Her CFO asks mid-meeting, Alice, what do you actually think we should do? And there's a pause, 3 seconds, maybe 4. And the pause has a little bit of a flavor. It tastes like someone who's trying to remember if she has ever, in fact, decided anything in the last year that did not come out of a chat window. She covers it. She says, I think we should do option 2. Well, option 2 was the model's recommendation. The CFO knows that. The CFO doesn't push. The team doesn't push. They've all learned this one thing, that asking Alice what she thinks gets you what the model thought, dressed in Alice's voice. This may sound crazy to you, but this is what's going to happen. Because we are going to outsource our thinking and start to lose our edge, people, again, the worst of us are going to stay crazy delusional. For most people, they're going to stay very mid in their influence or impact because it's just going to be these flat, low level, not high impact ideation, creative, wrestling, discernment. And for the best of us, it's going to make us better. But these are the kind of scenarios you're going to see. One more scenario, scenario 3. Sunday night, 9:50 p.m. Alice can't sleep. She's preparing for Monday. She's got the Sunday Scaries, you know what I'm saying, for people that have those, in a way that she has never had them before. Even in the years before she was a senior leader, the Sunday Scaries used to be about the people. It was her thinking about her growing the people and developing them. But now the Sunday Scaries are about the prompts. She's not afraid of who she's going to face on Monday. She's afraid the model will return something she doesn't know how to translate into her own voice fast enough. And that's what happens. That's the shift in a negative way into what I would say the model 95% of the time talks better and works better than most humans. It's a negative shift. And that fear that she has is the tell. The fear is no longer about, am I helping people grow in the work? It's about getting caught. Now, I know for a lot of us, it would be hard to get your mind around that work is going to start looking like that. I could go ahead and abstract it a layer further than that. A lot of work that's just professional LARPing, live action role playing, we're pretending we're playing, it's going to be the tools talking to the tools. And so what I want you to be thinking about is, where do you begin and end, and where does the tool begin and end? Because Alice, the AI evangelist, doesn't know. And so there are some people in your organization, they're going to bury their head in the sand, they're going to be afraid of it, and they're going to be left unprepared for the future. And there are others that are going to rush to it. And the first thing that those people that are rushing to it, the first thing that every person that says AI is going to help you be the best leader you've ever been, they'll tell you got to use it more, you got to use it faster, on more decisions. The premise is this, that the leaders who win in the AI era will be the leaders who run more of their thinking through the tools. And I think that's exactly backwards. Here's why I say that's backwards. The leaders who lose in the AI era will be the ones who depend on the tools in a way that actually makes them worse. Because the tool isn't actually a tool for those leaders. It becomes a substitute for the part of the tool that it becomes a substitute for the real leadership work that no tool can replace. One of the things we're going to be doing in future YouTube Lives is walking through the elements of this. For those of you that follow or listen along in the SightShift podcast, we're going to be going deeper in those places for it. The thing I really want you to grab a hold of right now as deeply as possible is this. There are things that AI can't do, and there are things that the human has to do. And if the human doesn't do them, they will be formed by the AI. AI will reveal not a skills gap, but an identity gap. And we'll remake the tools in the image of our insecurities, and it'll sycophantically reflect back what we want to hear. Great idea, sharp thinking, wonderful question. And we're going to get caught in this awful feedback loop, echo chamber of delusion. And so what I'm watching for is the kinds of leaders who start to learn. I'm not going to put my head in the sand. I'm not going to rush towards the tool as the answer, but I'm going to start paying attention to, what does it mean for me to be the kind of leader who isn't like Alice? Because when Alice runs the thinking, runs the struggle for a decision through the tool, she's not actually used the tool. When she outsources that way, she surrendered the one thing that she had to offer: her judgment, her discernment, her name on the call, a human's stamp on the decision. I will stand by this decision. Her willingness to be the one who decided. And so what's going to happen when something hard occurs? The team's going to learn that if we call Alice, we just get what the model said, and they will skip Alice and go straight to the model. The answer that we're grasping at here, as deeply as I can express it, is that human judgment under pressure is not a process you can outsource. It's not a deliverable. It is a person. It is a human being formed through making hard calls in uncertainty, through terrain and domain expertise, through not going through years on repeat, but being in rich feedback environments where you're learning where you end and where you begin, where you're wise, where you have gaps, where you have blind spots. This is why one of the things that's funny, I think it was Klarna, they fired 700 people, AI, and then they had to hire a bunch back. 2024, right? Something like that, because they're not ready. Well, now you're seeing a lot of companies doing more layoffs, saying it's AI. And I actually think the tools have gotten so much better, they're not going to have to hire everybody back. You are going to see existential shock at some level to the workforce. But the bigger shock that I'm focused on is how dumb everybody's about to get. Here's my idea. What do you think? Great idea. When people read their insecurities in the tool, they will be negatively deformed by the tool. So here's our thesis at SightShift. Here's the main conversation we're going to be having for the coming months. That about, rough estimation, 97% of people can be out-conversed and outworked by AI. Now, you've experienced some of the stupid versions, some of the versions that hallucinate, and you're like, this is idiotic. I come with receipts. I have an agent as a chief of staff, replaced a 30-hour-a-week assistant with it. It's amazing. It blows my mind. It's brilliant. It's stupid sometimes also. But here's the thing. I don't want to do the things it does better than me 97% of the time. I know where it begins and ends, and I know where I begin and end, and I know the 3% that I need to do. So you're going to hear us talking a lot about an idea called the 3% shift, being in this place where the human does what the human does at the highest level. In this age of AI, how do we bring the human edge? And it's not going to be because you mastered the perfect prompt. It's not going to be because you subscribe to the latest model. The 3% know who they are when the pressure arrives, when they feel the pressure of being stuck and not having a creative option forward. They feel the pressure when there's a bunch of options and they're not sure which one is the best one. They feel stuck when that relationship isn't sitting right, when there's some bitterness, when there's some irritation, when there's some forgiveness that's needed. One of the things that I'm finding over and over and over is how much AI as a technology doesn't do anything but reveal where you're already insecure. It's a mirror reflecting back. And if you need an awesome validation tool, they are building it to be an awesome validation tool, because every time it pumps you up and it hypes you up and it feeds the insecure parts of your ego, you want more. And you just keep tapping that little feed button and it's interacting more and you're using it more. And the people building it are happy. If it were to actually say back to you, that's a stupid idea, do you think people would keep using it? No. So one of the things that I want you to watch out for as we walk through this series, and specifically this is what we're on today, is how people start using it and how they become a better or worse version of themselves. And the people that will become a better version of themselves are the people that have done this, really clearly figured out the 3% I do that makes the biggest difference. That is the human image I'm bringing to this. I know where the AI ends and I know where I begin. Because the kinds of leaders who figured that out, and we'll talk more in future series about where that 3% number comes from. I just made it up one day. I saw 3 and thought I'd go, no, this is based on the top 4 studies that have been done on the longest time frame for how adults grow and develop. We have some teeth to this and we can't wait to share it with you. But I want to provoke today. I want to stir up. I want you to imagine these kinds of scenarios, because these are the situations we're going to see playing out. And I feel a conviction to be here to kind of raise the flag and say, we need to be thinking seriously. I'm not afraid of the tool. I'll use it a ton, but we need to be thinking seriously about our becoming in this so that we can be in that 3%, because I don't want to waste my time on doing the things that the tool can do better. Here's a couple of applications for you to help you. I'm going to grab a sip of my coffee since it's been too long since it's sat here. All right, 3 application points. 1, something that I do for myself that I think could help you is the before I type rule. And this is how I think about it. Most days, the model is going to be more comprehensive than you in unbelievable ways. That's fine. What I want you to do is, in one sentence, just write down what you think. Like, possess your own thought. Write it down. See it. Stare at it. There's something that helps your mind just make sense of something by saying, this is my thought. And you start to build an architecture in your mind by noticing your thinking. You notice that you're more than your thoughts. Your thoughts pass and come and go. And this will help you get, and there's a lot more we can go in depth on this, but I want to introduce this as a way of breaking that really whack validation loop that everybody's going to get caught in. So just before you type, just write your thought. Second, before you pass any model output to your team, run this test on it. Would you put your name on it? Would you put your name on it? The name on it test, we could call it. So before I type, I write the name on it test. Would you put your name on this? Here's what we're going to head into pretty quick here in the work world. People are just going to be forwarding things like crazy. Here's what my Claude came up with. Here's what ChatGPT said. Like, that's not good enough. If you start tolerating that, I mean, obviously you're going to have a little bit of it in the early stages, but if long-term your leadership team is passing around strategic decisions and no one's willing to put their name on it, that quick, you're going to have an avoidance of accountability in your organization because, again, Claude or ChatGPT or whatever is not showing up to your leadership meeting and going, "I own this one. Guys, this is my fault. I know that plan didn't work. I know we lost money. I know that was off strategy. That was on me, and I'm sorry." Third, I think for me, what I've found, and I wonder if this is true for you, it is very helpful in looking at different angles on hard conversations. Um, and I'm all for that. What I don't want you to do is come to a hard conversation stuck to the script. So the way that I would think about this third point of application is just free yourself from the script. Like, don't be the person who's trying to get your point across and miss the person. Come to that ready to see where the conversation may land. The script is a starting point, but it's a point to break off from as the shift or the conversation starts to go in different directions. Now, it's weird to me to be giving you these tips because I think for a lot of you watching, you're intelligent enough to get this, but I think it's the way we got to speak practically and think practically so that Alice, the AI evangelist, doesn't wreck our culture. She's not the danger, by the way. The danger is the version of her who doesn't wake up to reality and doesn't go, "Oh my gosh, where do I end and where do I begin?" Those are the kind of questions we want to provoke here at SightShift because we can predict with the data we use what exactly you're bringing to your AI tool and how you're going to make it in your own image and use it to feed insecurities in you. And we don't want that to happen. So as you go about today, look for the ways that you're seeing a reflection back in the technology and encourage it to push against you, to challenge you, test your assumptions, and then learn to stand in that moment on your own, not overly dependent on the tech. Thanks for being here. Hit the bell, subscribe, join us for the future YouTube lives. We'll hang for a second to see what questions you have or what stood out. A few comments I'll read to us. AI isn't making people better leaders, making people better doers. A freaking men. It's going to be crazy to see, like, already. We work with a lot of different companies. You could step into almost any company from 50 to 200 million ish. And a lot of the leadership team are over promoted, aggressive doers. Well, now that's going to fuel that even more. There's not actually a lot of building leaders going on. So here we go. My experience with AI, you still have to be a good leader. If you can't lead people well, you won't lead AI well. Slop in, slop out. Yeah. If you do great work, it's going to help you do great work. And if you phone it in, we're all going to know it. The slop will be evident. The same problems I have with leading people, I have with leading AI. That's a big one. That's a big one. We'll have to walk through the identity fears and how they show up with AI in future sessions. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here at YouTube Live. Lunch with Chris. We'll see you next time. Have a great Wednesday. Peace.